the third discussion panel of the Draconic Summit. This panel is being hosted in the mature section of the server because of what it's being discussed in it. In this panel, we'll be opening up a discussion about the more violent, sexual, or intimate sides of Draconity, non-humanity, and ultra-humanity. I will give a trigger warning just in case, though. This panel will be going deep, into violent acts, sexual acts, and immoral actions. Things like blood, BDSM, kinks, fetishes, and similar subjects may all be discussed in graphic detail here. If you believe any of this would upset you or make you uncomfortable, please feel free to leave the panel. However, discussions of RAPE are still expected to be censored due to myself and others having personal traumatic experience with SEXUAL abuse. With that out of the way, I'll start by saying that I'm not sure any of us here are completely squeaking clean, in the sense that none of us have hunting instincts, fighting instincts, food instincts, or even courtship instincts when it comes to Draconity or non-humanity. I'm certainly not squeaky clean when it comes to my non-human instincts, and my psyche in general. So I'll describe some of my own experiences with these kind of things. I know that there are a lot of dragons who have cultures that respect the animal in the hunt and seek to honor that animal sacrifice, though I and the other Valansakai are entirely excluded from that. We are energy beings who do not have to eat to survive. We hunt and eat purely for our own pleasure, and therefore, a lot of the times, we do not see the animal we kill as one that deserves for its sacrifice, though rather we simply see it as food to sate the endless hunger of the divines. Though I myself respect many, many important things about nature, even the ones that I do not appreciate, and I understand that said things I don't appreciate are important, I still hold... I still hold no love for some of these things. The other Valansakai, like Othavirok, Kithukan, Ualtial, and Volinketh, hold much less love for life forms than I do. Though then again, they don't hold much love and appreciate many things to begin with. Reincarnation upon home actually ties into my dislike for certain aspects of nature, since upon Aethelfirthalka, those who are awful to others and don't give back to the world of which they continuously take from in life, as in taking from the world and not being grateful to the world itself, are reborn as bigger prey animals, destined to be inevitably hunted. Those who commit more heinous acts, such as abusing other people, committing hate crimes, believing in racial, sexual superiority complexes, destroying or wasting resources needlessly or maliciously, or becoming heretics following a malicious entity, are reincarnated into what us Valansakai upon home call the lowly and filthy animals, such as ground-dwelling creatures who are doomed to eventually be hunted or killed. But do remember that this is only a thing upon my home world, and this is only a thing upon my home world, and I do not apply this, and it is not applied whatsoever, to anything or anyone upon this earth. It is within the fate of those who inflict harm to live in existence upon Aethelfirthalka in darkness, filth, and fear for the crimes they committed in life upon home. This cycle can continue for thousands of years until the soul is judged to have learned its lesson, or have lived through enough consecutive fear. There is some of the original there is still some of the original consciousness in the reincarnated creature body, so the punishment is felt, and not soon forgotten, even after many, many deaths. Due to this fact, I don't hold love for a lot of creatures upon this earth, even though I know the cruel punishment enacted upon home does not apply to them. Strangely enough, I actually did used to own pet mice before I was forced to give them away to my local rat breeder. This ties into the fact since mice are some of the creatures upon home that, no fault said empty, that those who committed heinous acts were reincarnated as. Oh, I lost my thing. Hold on. These views of mine from this and punishment upon home did eventually unintentionally bleed into my worldview upon this earth. Though then again, almost all of my draconic aspects upon home bleed into my life upon this earth. Obviously, again, none of this applies to Earth and things, or even to other worlds. This is something that only applies to Aethelfirthalka. Though I digress. Upon home, I feel nothing for the reincarnated fools. Upon home. When I kill them as my true draconian self, in fact, I specifically thrash them around more for my amusement and satisfaction, since upon home, I know how their vile souls treated others in life. One sec. Upon home, I am an incredibly vengeful and hateful being, actually, despite the fact that I do try to be kind and gentle towards others. I hold a lot of anger and hate towards the malicious. The vile show no mercy to the innocent, so I in turn upon home show no mercy to them. What I just described is just one of the many cruel cycles of Aethelfirthalka. So, moving on to something more intimate in nature, since this is a panel about discussing the darker aspects of Draconity, sexual ones included, I may not seem like it on the surface, though I can be a really kinky bitch sometimes. Us Valansakai cannot reproduce or have children, so sexual activities are purely for recreational and pleasurable purposes. Though even those sexual activities are limited, since we are disgusted by oral sex and cannot engage in anal sex, since there is an absence of a certain body part or hole or whatever. We don't even have organs, or bones, for that matter. Regardless, we do have ways of turning each other on, and the things we use to make sexual activities more interesting and arousing. Almost none of you know this, but blood is actually something that turns my being on, and something I use a lot in my sexual activities upon home. There are very few things that have an arousing effect on my being like blood does. Bonus points if the blood is from my sworn enemies or those who are genuinely malicious. This aspect of my true draconian self certainly bleeds into my personality somewhat upon this earth, though I would never engage in sexual activities with actual blood covering my body. It is something, however, that I fantasize about doing. Additionally, we do have courtship dances, and make certain movements to signify sexual interest. Shaking or braiding the wings, or flicking the tail upwards, are some of the more common ones we do. We also make certain growling noises that we recognize as noises to signify what is signaling they want. In essence, these little growls are like little songs. Now, onto hunting and hunger instincts. I actually have a lot of cat-like mannerisms that I make when I see potential prey animals. If I see you as prey upon home, I'll definitely look at you a certain way, with slit pupils and flick my tail. I may also take a little crouching position that I may prepare to pounce on you. Oftentimes, though, unless I'm extremely hungry, I wouldn't go out of my way to catch someone or something if they're small. I'll just be inspecting my potential prey, per se. Keep in mind, I do not do this upon Earth at all, to anyone or any animal. I can actually hunt in both the air and on the ground upon home, though I usually prefer to hunt while flying. When I'm flying, I would usually catch prey in fields. I would use my incredibly long talons, well, not talons, claws, on either my feet or on my hands to grab others. Sometimes I may eat my prey in midair, sometimes I'll wait, sometimes I'll use my fire to burn them. It all depends on what I'm feeling in that moment. seeing if I want roasted stuff or not. Let's see, what else do I have to add? Oh, some of the features that us Valentica have, such as our large teeth and our claws, are actually specifically meant for carnivorous actions, opening up prey, biting down on prey quickly, like that. Well, that's actually all I had in my script, actually. So, if anyone wants to come up and speak on stage about hunting instincts or otherwise, anything discussed in this panel, they are free and welcome to. In the meantime, though, I'm going to go ahead and look at the chat. I actually do have memories of hunting. I have a lot of memories of hunting, which is why I'm able to pin down what exactly I did upon home in regards to hunting or eating. I actually have a lot of memories of hunting other dragons. Oh, fishing. I can't exactly remember. Wait, no. Yeah, I did catch fish, though. It wasn't really. It wasn't really well. Something I did too often. Oftentimes, my predatory instincts and my hunting instincts can actually get pretty intense. To the point where I look at animals upon this earth and I'm like, food. Though, of course, I would never act on them. Oh, intrusive thoughts. I heavily relate with having intrusive thoughts, especially about hunting instincts, actually. I have schizoaffective disorder, which is a pretty severe mental disorder. And intrusive thoughts are a thing that plague my life often, in, including how I feel about hunting instincts. Intrusive thoughts come in all shapes and forms. Though I don't think I'm a bad person for having intrusive thoughts, nor do I think others are bad for having intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts are out of our control. Hello.
Hi again. Does it work? Okay, good. I'm getting more and more used to being on the stage. Hey, good. I think the discussion is a good example of myself being a bit different, and such as that I don't relate so much to the material stuff, but maybe a bit more to the mental stuff. I don't know. So yeah, if we're talking about the darker side of Draconity, I'm of course getting reminded of the shadow I was talking about yesterday in my panel already. So my darker side is something less cruel in the sense that it doesn't really take pleasure in tormenting individual beings, or killing or something, or yeah, having the feeling of blood or something. It's just something that wants to destroy it all on a higher level. It just wants to burn the world down. That is. I mean, I once had that meditation session when I actually entertained that idea of turning into plasma, which would basically burn the whole planet down, and then that felt good. I was a bit shocked about it, but it felt good. So that, I guess, that is what my level of shadow or the dark side is actually doing. It's well, it's more or less a godlike, if you put it that way. Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
I've also described that as the monster in me, which already starts at a different point, but it would look very cruel from a human point of view, because actually when I look at killing and death and what's happening in war on the battlefield, that the thing is that how I can of course my ego self can empathize with the cruelty on there, and also feel that pain of the people. But if I'm honest, the higher self, this draconic self, it's just on a different level. It's like a god who floats on top of that battlefield and looks down, smiling, because it knows that everything that happens down there is a part of an endless cycle of life. Yeah, so it doesn't see death as something bad. And it doesn't even see species members killing each other as something intrinsically bad, but it is something that is somehow needed in that endless circle of life, which that entity is actually there to protect. So it is inevitable, and such a being, such an entity, it from a human point of view, it would be utterly dark and evil and unempathetic, but in fact it isn't, because it really cares about that cycle of life, and not so much about death of individuals. So that seems to be, it's just at it's another level, you see. So that's what I'm thinking about when it comes to the darker side. Yeah, about sex. I'm pretty much not thinking about that at all, because being an asexual, the sex drive is practically not present in me. It's not present in for the ego self, not in this life, and also not for the higher self. Yeah, so physical recreation doesn't it doesn't play a role in my life at all.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my point of view.
That's actually very interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yay! Okay, my mic works today. So on to the subject I said earlier about how I remember hunting many dragons. So I'm still questioning my kin type, and a major part of that is because my kin type is dark. I so I remember in my past life as a dragon, I lived in a mountain by a nearby village, and the village was attacked by a kingdom. In response to that, because I liked the village, I basically started a war. And so one of the things I had to deal with throughout my awakening is having past life memories of me burning villages and at times hunting other dragons
Oh.
to the point where instinctually I can remember still how to do it. And that alone, on top of the trauma I felt in this life, has set my awakening back years and has really affected me as a person growing up, and now really trying to advocate for peace not doing what I do. But it my first experience with being another kid was during a meditation when I was about 8 years old. I got my first memory of me flying over a burning city, and that traumatized me, to be honest.
I wouldn't doubt it. I can actually relate to the war thing, however. Um, my true Draconic self did actually start wars against enemies who decided to spite my being or threaten to destroy the world or other people. So thank you for sharing your experience. It is much appreciated.
Thank you for having me. Sorry it's a bit dark.
No worries, it's all right. All is well. Okay, chat. Yep, a lot of dragons seem to be into vor. Yes, it is a largely accurate stereotype. I am not excluded. I was not excluded from that. Vornest. Maybe next summit, if we have enough interest in it. No thoughts, head empty. By the way, if anyone else wants to come up on stage, they are free to. When I started, another point, when I started wars as my true draconian self, they were only usually wars against those who wanted to harm others. So if I felt upon home that others were wanting to declare war, I would declare war on them first. So I'd call an ambulance, but not for me. I might go ahead and end this panel a little early. For some reason, my mind is blanking quite a bit. Trying to think. Actually, the Valansakai are actually kind of built for swallowing prey whole. I don't know exactly how we're built for it. I just know that we are. And I do have memories I do have memories of, well, swallowing things whole and actually enjoying it. Oh, I swallowed prey when they were alive. So, scrolling up a bit. Oh yeah, intrusive thoughts. They're definitely not what someone wants to do deep down. They're just they're just intrusive things. They're not what we want, really. I know because I feel bad about a lot of my intrusive thoughts. Though I do my best to recognize that my intrusive thoughts don't define my being. I wish I could better manage them, honestly, though. It's what do you do? I have actually found myself having intrusive thoughts of my true draconian self. It is very strange. Oh, that would be an interesting panel. Sometimes I do have to do my best to figure out whether I'm feeling an actual instinct of my draconic self or even my werewolf self, or if it's something that, or if it's something just my intrusive thoughts. Intrusive thoughts, they're essentially random thoughts that come up in one's head that are violent or otherwise unwanted in nature. Their intrusive thoughts are things that others can't control. I know I can't control my intrusive thoughts as much as I wish to. Like, an intrusive thought I have a lot is, strangely enough, throwing a glass bowl over the edge of the stairs and watching it crash. I don't want to throw a bowl over the edge of the stairs, though. My mind is like, you gotta throw the bowl over the edge of the stairs. And it is intrusive because I don't want it. I think my voice is still a little weird today from yesterday. I know it was very scratchy during the elitism panel. Yeah, we actually already have a few panel submissions for Draconic Summit Spring, which I'm excited about. I would definitely not mind another one. Stage, stage is still open, by the way. Thank you, I appreciate it. I am feeling better. The other panels are going to be on YouTube. I'll announce in Draconic Basin when I create the uh no thoughts head empty. I'll announce in the Draconic Basin when I create that YouTube channel and when I start uploading the videos. I'll also work on adding subtitles to said videos. Also, Oki. Trying to think of what else. Oh, food instincts. I'm actually very food possessive. I do not want anyone taking my food, especially if it's fruit or meat. Fruit and meat is something I ate a lot upon home. More meat than fruit, obviously. I mean, not obviously. Um, I ate more meat than fruit upon home, though I do love fruit. And I love it upon this earth, too. Funny thing is that my Earth mother jokes that I was a fruit bat in a past life. And I'm like, you're kind of close. You're kind of close. I actually kind of have those same intrusive thoughts, and I agree that they are. I can relate. They are very unsettling. Also, no worries. I understand. Um, let's see. Upon home, we actually did make culinary stuff. We cooked stuff. We actually made ham. Ham is cured meat, so it was something we liked a lot. I remember off the Virok telling my being that there were certain kind of avian creatures that were a little more dangerous in nature, having claws and teeth, that were hunted either in ritual, because it would be rewarding prey, or just because they taste good. Oh, pork. I don't have any memories of us eating pork upon home. Mostly just ham. I'm not sure what we would consider other types of meat, honestly. To us, it's just meat. There probably is a name. Oh, I see. Long pork is an euphemism for human. I see. So, let's see. No thoughts, head empty. That's gonna be my. That's gonna be my phrase for the Draconic Summit panels this year. No thoughts, head empty. I'm not sure what words we had for other types of meat upon home. We probably did, just like there's beef, pork, venison upon this earth. Though if we did define them, I don't think they'd be very important. It's more of just meat. Or we just called them place animal here, meat. Oh no, what if I cook my pet? I have a pet snake named Snoot. Oh, I would die if anything happened to him. I used to have mice, like I mentioned earlier, though. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Yes, Snoot is the best name for a snake. He's a corn snake. And he is a good boy. Like I said earlier in the panel, I used to own mice, though I was forced to give them away because my Earth father and my little Earth brother are like scared of mice. Like, oh, I don't like mice. I'm like, stop being a little girl. Yes, I will tell Snoot that everyone loves him. I'll actually post a picture of him later. He is good boy. I actually need to get him a rat to eat today. Though I'll do that after the panels. If you want to say something, you feel free to come up and do it. I actually have a speech impediment also, as is told by the others. My speech impediment is bad sometimes. I'm surprised that I'm able to speak as well as I do. Hello.
Hey. Yeah, to say something about food and Draconic toss. There's this one specific like Spanish ham which is like raw. It's also like I don't know how to like best explain it, but it's raw in the sense that like it feels very natural. Like it isn't prepared in any way. And for some reason, that is always like that's my mind very dragony. Like as soon as I eat it, I'm just like, yeah, I have to like stop myself from growling at people sometimes because like my mind is just there, and I don't know why. Why? Yeah, we're mostly raw like flesh mostly triggers my wolf side, but like that specific M really just triggers the dragon in me, and I really don't know why. But yeah, and after I'm like in that mindset, I also just start getting intrusive thoughts and stuff like involving my pets, and it makes me feel like shit because I love my pets, and yeah,
Hmm.
so I
Thank you.
think it's I don't really know how to pronounce that, but German Serrano. Said, yeah, it's that one. Yeah, that's something I want to say for a second.
That's fair. Thank you for coming up and saying something. I've actually heard of different types of ham. I think Iberian ham, that's really good. It looks really good.
That's,
I think, I think it's called acorn ham too.
and there's also some types of Dutch ham which I really like. Like, it doesn't really get me like go feral, but it does really. It's really tasty. Like,
Ah,
we have a lot of cows here, so we're kind of we have a lot of cheeses and meats from cows. So
ooh. I'm actually lactose intolerant, so I can't eat cheese.
yeah, I don't really like a lot of cheeses, which is ironic since I am Dutch, but I do like grilled cheese a lot. Like I love French cheese, which gets me a lot of looks here. Well, like of course not like seriously, but like love like we have so much great cheeses here. Why are you choosing for the French cheeses? But like I don't like Gouda or like other Dutch cheese. They're just like yeah.
I've always wanted to try different foods, especially foods from outside the US.
I know a few sites with like have Dutch recipes on them, and I've sent them to a few people in the US who have who are interested in it. Like I can link them in the chat if I find them.
Hmm. I know each European country has a lot of rich culture, and I always find that fascinating.
Yeah, I just came back from Scotland, and it's very like interesting to see how different things are there.
Hmm.
Like even in the food, like haggis. I've never seen haggis before. I haven't tried it. I don't think I will like it, but it's just funny to see like, how different everything is. And
Hmm.
I feel like a lot of people in the US don't really get that. Like I've seen a lot of people who think that Europe as a whole has like the same culture, which really is not the case. Like even in countries, there are cultural differences between cities and provinces.
Hmm.
I don't really know what else to say. Like that was kind of my.
That's fair. Mlim.
I also don't really know how to leave. Uh, leave stage, yeah.
Mlim. Thank you for sharing. It's much appreciated. I think talking about dark stuff would be more widely received if it is an environment receptive to dark stuff, just like this panel. We have the Celestial Spire. There's a mature section there, and we actually engage in a lot of discussion about this kind of stuff. So it's it's normalized in that server. which is a good thing because we should be allowed to talk about these kind of things. It's not about the quantity of the spaces, it's about keeping it healthy. Yeah. Ooh, that looks good. Let's see, what else have I missed? Hmm. I've written a lot of stuff about the dark sides of my Draconity and Celestial Spire, though I don't have enough time to go into the Spire and see what I wrote. So there's a lot of things I've written there that I haven't shared here. I'll probably go ahead and end the panel in 10 minutes. Since my speech is starting to get not great. Having a speech impediment sucks, y'all. Limb. Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm very self-conscious about my voice and my mannerisms, so it's encouraging to know that others don't think bad of my being for uh speaking the way I do. Trying to think about hunting instincts. Let's see. Stage is still open, by the way. Yeah, my speech impediment is kind of uh stupid speech impediment. It's kind of caused by um my disorganized thoughts and being unable to accurately say what I actually mean. I oftentimes fumble on words or mispronounce them. It doesn't help that I have heavy dyslexia. Oh yeah, my psychiatrist said that my pattern and way of speaking it's not normal. So when he pointed it out, I was like, oh dear. The hunting instincts. As for how common my hunting instincts are, they're actually quite common with my true draconian self. Um, my disorganized thoughts are getting so bad during this panel. Oh yeah, the body was in speech therapy for years. Oh yeah, my hunting instincts are actually quite common. upon home. I seem to be unable to speak properly, sadly, right now, so I'm going to go ahead and end the panel here. I apologize, though. Thank you, everyone, for listening and adding your viewpoints and contributing to this panel. I do appreciate it, and I appreciate the understanding with my terrible speech impediment. Let's see, the next panel we have is... The next panel we have is in 2 hours. It is Delicious Draconic Dishes, Feeding You How to Feed Your Inner Dragon by Kiara. I'm excited for that panel. All right, everyone, thank you for attending this panel. It's much appreciated. I hope you all have a good last day of the summit.